that may be up to certain limit, but there are more CO2 is being produced than the trees which we can really do that. So normally we say that grow more number of trees. It is mainly for not only bringing water, but that was not scientifically proved. Maybe whether many of you know or not. If I put more trees, more rainfall is not a proven technique. But somehow we have been telling that and we are also following it. But if it is more trees, more carbon sequestration is well proved one. So the more number of trees that you are growing, the natural carbon sequestration is very good. But we may not be able to create so many trees. So now there are many techniques which are being adopted in different countries. So still we are really lacking on this particular artificial carbon sequestration. So I may have to tell some examples from other countries only, and then we'll really look into it. So my speech will be carbon sequestration, especially on ocean sequestration and CO2 pump, and carbon capture and storage. What are the other ways the carbon can be captured and stored or sequestered, and natural gas field example from Norway, and issues related to carbon sequestration, and then come some conclusions. Okay. So this is normal how different sectors or different contribute to the carbon, starting from agriculture, industry, or our day-to-day activities. Even we are all contributing to CO2 as such. So that way that it is not only from agriculture but also from industry or even the concrete building, all those things are contributing towards CO2 as such. Okay, which is going into the atmosphere, and that raises the temperature. So we have to address, if I want to reduce the temperature, I have to know what the problem is and try to reduce it. So that is what we are trying to, if I can stop the carbon release into the atmosphere, somewhere else you have it, so that the CO2, the overall temperature increase is reduced or abated. That is the main idea of artificial carbon sequestration. That's one. So the climate change challenge is mainly the CO2. That is what, because we had only measured CO2 very well throughout the world. Okay, that was one of the reasons. I am not saying that CH4 also may be more. People have estimated, but somehow CO2 was, every pollution control board or everybody has put the CO2 as a limit. We are trying to look into it. And next one. And there are carbon sequestration, the storage of carbon dioxide, which would otherwise enter the atmosphere. So try to take it from atmosphere and then store it somewhere. And ideally a long-term solution. It is not for one time that you have to do. It is a continuous process. We are development, we cannot stop. So can we go for this artificial, and typically carbon emissions from burning of fossil fuel, and both naturally occurring and anthropogenic cycle. One is photosynthesis, is a natural carbon sequestration, whereas the carbon sink also is one of the natural thing. If there are more trees are there, that will be the carbon sink, and also the oxygen sink. So that's both ways that it will be helpful. Currently there are more than 80 carbon capture thing. In fact, USA and UK, and including the Iceland, which is a very small land, they have done a lot of work on this particular one. Unfortunately, we have not started in this particular area. Next one. So the ocean sequestration is one of the very important thing, which is artificially, naturally absorbs 30 to 40% of the man-made CO2 emission. So and leads to acidification. So this is also one of the problem with ocean, that if you are getting into too much of CO2, there is a chance that 50 years there will be some change in at least around 0.5 increase in the acidity. Okay, the pH value will be reduced by 0.5 acid. That is one of the things. The ion fertilization is another thing. This IPCC has given some good kind of idea what are the ways that this carbon sequestration can be done. So mainly A2 scenario 965 ppm, possible reduction to 833. That is what they are trying to look into it, and surface pH of 7.74 to 7.76, and the slight mitigation would further acidify the deep ocean. So one has to really be careful on doing at the ocean, but it's a natural process what it is being taking place. Let us look at some engineering solutions which have been implemented by engineers and other scientists, how we can push it inside. It's not a very simple thing. One is gas, another is water or maybe soil medium. So it is a two-phase problem. So you may have to be very careful in trying to design how we can push it inside, and pushing the air into the water itself is not a very easy kind of a thing. So the first solution people have found is trying to inject and store CO2 in the aquifer itself. Okay, where either you are pumping out a lot of water, or pumping out or taking out a lot of minerals. That is why I was telling that mines is one of the good example where we have removed a lot of water as well as the minerals. So there will be definitely some gap will be there. In that can we put the CO2 itself. That is what people were estimates of the CH4 dissolved in the brine in aquifer, along with effect, this aquifer also can take this CH4. That is one of the things, and there are many things, but the problem is it is really expensive. Leakage is a risk to human and ecosystem, may change volume of the kind of a system we may have to. It's not worse than that. It's the best one. Sorry, it's the wrong way. So this is a CO2 pump, biological and physical pump of carbon dioxide, where biologically also it can pump the CO2 inside the ocean, and also the physical way that we can pump it inside. That is also being practiced in other countries. This is the second solution. Next one. The third solution is geroidal solution. So these geroidals are dump iron ore dust, okay, like your cloud seeding. You just put the iron ore in the ocean to create algal bloom, okay. So sometimes we always say that algae is kind of a not wanted side, but algae can sequester the kind of carbon very well. So one has to really look into that and create an algal bloom which would absorb carbon dioxide and sink it inside. So that is also one of the main points, but not on the natural water body, but the other water body. But problem is, could change the sea temperature, which would affect the marine ecosystem. It's a political implication, as shown mixed results in a small scale experiment. So these also people are utilizing it to use the carbon sequestration. That's one. And another thing that it has been decided, try to have a solar umbrella, okay, rather than trying to make it CO2 to go up. You try to have an umbrella both in two directions. One is not lot of radiation, but at the same time the CO2 also is not increasing the temperature high, because you have an umbrella and that it has been put on the planet. These are the umbrellas, and really expensive, like $4 trillion. Take 30 years or more to do. It takes a lot of time. It's not a very simple solution. I cannot put this umbrella everywhere in the around the kind of a thing. This only mainly by experimental setup people have done it. That's what. So this carbon capture and storage, we'll just see one as an example of how we can push it into the aquifer system, okay, where it has been very successful to put it, where there were a lot of mines were there and there are a lot of gaps have been produced, and in that how these can be put down inside. Next one. So the CO2 capture and storage is a technology that aims to prevent the CO2 generated by large stationary source like power plant or any other thing where there is a possibility for CO2 emission, such as coal-fired power plant, especially Neyveli Lignite Corporation is lignite burn power plant. And from entering the atmosphere. You are trying to stop that to go to the atmosphere as such. And as he said, 1 ton of coal if you are burning, I get 1 ton of CO2. And this CO2, if it goes inside, then that creates so much temperature. The technology aims to capture around 90% of the CO2 emissions from these sources and permanently prevent their release into the atmosphere. And CCS is normally designed to accomplish in 3 steps. The first is CO2 is captured and compressed at any particular system. Okay, because it's air. First thing is you have to compress it. Then the second is it is transported to the storage location. Okay, wherever you are getting it, try to transport. And third one is you push it inside so that it is permanently stored there. Okay, so if you want later, we can take it out. That is also people are saying that it will be a resource that it may be available for you. Okay, so and the 4 basic components of this is the capture of CO2 and compression, and then transportation, and also the sequestration. So there are people have implemented these particular ones, and there are risks also have been evaluated, but the risks are not that much unless there is drinking water is going to be used for drinking purposes and so on. Next one. Next one. So this is one of the Norway plans. Norway is very pioneer. In fact, they have started in 1992 itself. Okay, so almost around now we have more than 25 years that it has come. So in operation since 1996, 1 million of CO2 per year is pushed inside into the aquifer system. Okay, so these several projects are already, and as I said, there are around 80 projects which are being done in USA, and UK is also doing quite a lot on that, even though they are all small countries, but they are doing quite a lot on that. So in fact, we have to do these particular things because we have more number of thermal power plants. So on the climate change front, now they are saying that try to avoid this. Am I audible? Alright, okay. So that way that it is being, it's putting the world on a low carbon diet. That's what it is. Stored deep underground, it is possible. Next one. And these are all where geological storage which is happening, except we are not taking care in this particular one. Even China is doing, okay, and Europe there are many plants, and even Brazil and other USA there are around 80 plants, or at least 40 plants are very successful plants which are there on aquifer recharge assets. Okay, so this is how the storage current, and also they are trying to propose that it's only small number and used and enhance oil and gas recovery. Another thing that they were saying, by injecting the CO2, then they get more oil can be recovered without much process assets. So that is also they were doing as a side benefit asset for the oil companies. Okay, but we may have to also, as I said, we may have to use it whether it can stop the seawater intrusion to a great extent and so on. Okay, next one. So this is enhanced oil and gas recovery, where you can just CO2 and then water, and again you are getting, so in fact you get more yield of this. If I am injecting carbon dioxide on one side, and I may get the oil yield very high on the other side, because the air also try to push it much more oil to one side, and then you can take that oil very well. That is what now the other countries are production well how to increase upon they are doing as such. Next one. So and 3 methods of capturing. One is on the kind of, it is before burning, and also the dump burning, and also the after burning. We can really utilize this, okay, especially from the oil side, oil refineries, you can go ahead. Next one. So the CO2 can be geologically stored. This is what the question many people were asking.